No one has done that I've seen has done a focus group of MAGA people about how they feel about the Trump administration right now in the wake of the Jeffrey Epstein announcement and of what's going on in Ukraine. Like
Can I answer that real quick though?
somebody should be doing a focus group.
But
Yeah.
I will tell you that when I read Politico or anyone talking about MAGA, my immediately it's almost like I go, okay, don't count that.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
and so
That's
to
what.
your point,
But that's what I'm saying. I don't care what the Washington Post and Politico think, and I don't care what a few tweets say or people say on their podcast to get attention. Is the MAGA grassroots upset about this or not?
right? And I guess
No
what
one
I'm
on here
trying to,
knows.
right, what I'm trying to answer your question though by saying is, I believe unless like I have a hard time figuring out who that source would be that I'd care that would say it. So in other words, how you define it when I read Playbook and they start talking about what's going on in MAGA universe, I go, does a
Right.
Brit who arrived here 3 days ago
Of
really
course,
have a clue who's in MAGA?
that's my point. I want to know what 8 people who voted 3 times for Donald Trump who live in Green Bay and in Altoona and in Lansing. I want to know what they think about this because we
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know.
I know, and I guess all I'm saying is if you went out and said, you know, I'll just doesn't matter. Like the Harvard goes out and does a poll, I'd be like, I don't really like, I don't trust them to actually know who that is.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. We need a focus group. Dan, let me ask you this: if you were an advisor to the president and he said, "I need you to find out if MAGA's upset. I don't care if Laura Loomer's upset, or I don't care if Charlie Kirkstein's a little upset. I want to know if my base is really upset. How would you? How what? And he says, go to the RNC and get whatever money you need. How would you determine that?
I was just going to say here, I bet the White House is doing it right now. It is the most politically attuned White House I've ever seen. They focus group and poll relentlessly to understand the pulse of their base. Look, this happened on Monday. Ukraine has kind of happened since Saturday. My bet is they're going into the field now, and they are focus grouping. And look, you'll also know, because we're all friends and follow a lot of right-wing influencers and media figures, right? They're business people. If their audience, if they're seeing the numbers on engagement and viewership, then it tells you when they're, because I have been shocked. This is the first time since Trump has come back that I see the right wing questioning him in a respectful way, saying it's not enough, we need more. If their viewers were saying no and switching the channel, they would stop. If they
totally agree.
Tens of millions.
Totally agree. If you're on now, I was being a little bit facetious because the America's Best focus groups right here.
Yeah,
if you're on two-way right now and you voted 3 times for Donald Trump, please put in the chat speaking specifically about the announcement that the case closed, Jeffrey Epstein. Please put in the chat upset, not upset about that particular thing. Are you upset about it? Don't put this not upset, upset, not upset, not upset, not upset, not upset, not upset, upset, not upset, upset, upset. Yeah, we do. We're working on it. All right.
Right,
So
just to be clear, though, I'm reading
mixed.
everybody in here, right? So all I'm trying to do is make sure that this is again where I'm like, what's the screen? Because to me, I get it. I'm actually reading the chat,
Yeah.
but I'm going to myself, how many of these people, like, is it 3 for 3?
You mean did they all vote 3 times for Trump?
Correct.
Well, I told you only vote if you voted 3 times for Trump.
Yeah.
That's what I told. We're a very obedient group community here. We all do what we're told. All right. My point is we don't know, and yet, as Sean said, there's nothing the media likes more. The liberal dominant media likes more than writing stories about how MAGA is deeply divided.
By the way, can I add a third topic to that, Mark? Because it's Ukraine, It's Jeffrey Epstein, and it is what has kind of been now pushed under the surface, which is what Brooke Rollins is doing on immigration.
Okay, there you go. So, okay,
I think
bingo.
Yeah.
Listen,
is out there.
I agree.
And this is where, to your question, there are people that really care about Epstein, really care about Epstein. Some of them are MAGA. Some of them actually just care about it. I mean, like I know some people who aren't MAGA that actually really care about Epstein. But I think Dan just, hit the nail on the head. The Brooke Rollins immigration amnesty thing is the biggest thing in MAGA world. If that goes south, Epstein could walk outside the courtroom like I'm alive.
But it hasn't happened. That's the difference.
No, but that's a different.
It's got the potential. But it's a different thing.
It reeks of Friday night in August.